This is why I tell podcasters, creators, YouTubers, like, you don't, event planners, you don't even have to have the thing out in order to get a brand deal. You can sell a concept all day. They get bought all day.
Yeah. And
I'm living proof of selling a concept. I didn't have the show out when I sold it to them. I had a picture. I had a slide deck. I had some thoughts, and I was like, and here's how we're going to get the reach. And what I did, because the numbers are important. Who's your audience, Mario? Well, I don't even have one yet. So how am I proving it to them that I'm going to, when you don't have the audience, the proof is on you.
Welcome back to another episode of We Are the Ones podcast. This is the podcast where we have extraordinary conversations with extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. Avi, what is good? What's up? How you doing today?
How are you?
Listen, today is the one.
This the one?
This is the one today.
Now
I'm excited. Go ahead.
Is this the one? Because so today somebody told Jamil that he looked 28 years old.
Yes. That is I'm definitely
that could be a reason why he feeling real good today.
Yes, listen. You know that black don't crack, baby. You know.
And it's proven time and time again.
Proven time and time again. I had the person tell me, they was like, "Are you 28 years old?" I'm like, "Thank you." Thank you. That.
Look at that, because my knees don't feel like that. Yeah, but thank you that my face looks that way.
Or my acid reflux or anything else.
No, we ain't even have to go there.
No, but no, I'm excited today, Avi.
Yeah.
Today is that one.
It is. People have been asking about this one.
Yeah, people have been. There's been a lot of conversations happening around like monetization on social media.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of stories that's been out about these different platforms, how they are not really doing what they say that they were going to be doing in terms of monetization for content creators.
Right.
So we thought it was going to be really important to have some real conversations on how brands can become monetized, right? And I think I bought like the guru, the OG.
I mean, when you get to Emmy.
I mean, the Emmy award winning.
I mean, when you get to that.
I mean, listen,
that sounds like expert to me.
Let me just introduce my guy real quick. I've had the opportunity to know this brother for a few years now. He first came on my radar. Oh my God, it had to be almost 10 years ago or so. I was randomly watching like the Today Show, and you know how they have those segments where they bring on people to kind of talk about tech and all those types of. Mm-hmm. So they had this brother come on. He was just full of energy, just high energy, and you know me, I'm a little tech nerd or whatever. So they had all of these little tech devices and tech gadgets and stuff, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is incredible. Like who is this guy?
Yeah.
He's putting me on the game right now, So back then I started following him, and his energy is just so infectious.
So contagious.
His energy is so infectious. I mean, when you're around this guy, it's just, you can't help but to feel good about yourself.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Agree.
And he does nothing but provide real value to people, to his community, his base, just people who don't even really know him. Like, he's just all about just providing like real value to people, and he does it in a way that just like, again, it just attracts so many people to him. And he's been leading the charge around this whole brand partnership, brand sponsorship stuff, because again, we've seen a lot of this stuff in the news lately, and he's trying to be out here teaching people, listen, this is the way, this is the wave that you need to be on to really get that bag.
Yeah.
So I was just like, bro, I need you to come onto my podcast. I'm like, we've been trying, for a minute, trying to get the schedules together and everything, but he has so graciously accepted to be on the podcast today. And I'm so excited to welcome my brother, two-time Emmy Award winner, Mr. Mario Armstrong. Mario, what's good, bro?
Hey!
Man, let's go, people. Let's go. Got me knocking off my headphones, everything. Let's go. Acid reflux and all. Let's go, Jamil. Let's go.
Man, listen, bro. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you, Mario,
for being on the show.
It's an honor.
Nah,
It's
this is
an
an honor for us, man. Like, this is the first time we had an Emmy Award winner on the podcast. You know,
that's,
so
that's real, y'all. That's real. That's real.
Speech.
This is
real.
social proof, people. He's showing you. It's right there. He has it. You know,
it's real. It's real.
It's very real. And you see,
it's not a virtual backdrop. It's not a virtual backdrop.
No, but thank you so much, man, for being on the show. We really appreciate you and taking some time. Just again, we just want to give people some game on just this brand partnerships, brand sponsorships, and such. But before we kind of hop into that conversation, I just want you, to kind of give people a little bit about your backstory. Again, obviously, I talked a little bit about you, from my personal connection to you. But you're a pioneer in this space, man. In this digital space, you've been doing things very innovative for a long time, going back to your talk show, the Never Settle Show. Shout out to Never Settle Show. That was one of my favorite shows. One of my favorite shows, man.
Yeah.
So just kind of give us a little bit about your backstory, bro, and how you got to this point where you are right now.
Yeah, man. I think, first off, thank you so much for having me. Thank you to the family that's watching and listening. Really appreciate y'all. And, I would say it all started with the fact that it's a really crazy story, and I'll kind of keep a short version of it. But I had started off wanting to be in communications. So I went off to college. I'm from Baltimore. That's a shout out to my hometown, Bmore. And I went off to college, ended up going to West Virginia State University, which is in the mountains, and ended up doing great like my first year. Like I always was a C+ student in school, never really did good. I did enough to get by. School just didn't connect to me. It wasn't until I got to college that I was like, yo, I actually know what I want to do. And I'm actually like training, and it had relevancy. So the light bulb went off, and I started really actually getting B+ grades, and my mom was excited. But what happened in the second semester of that first freshman year, I ended up being targeted by a legit gang leader that lived in that community that infiltrated the campus, and I became the premier target, so much so that I ended up getting shot at on campus while I'm trying to do my books. Right. So just pause on that for a second, because that moment changed the trajectory. So when I say to people I never finished college, you need to understand, I didn't just drop out. I was getting shot at, and I left college, and then I went to other colleges, and I never, how you always feel like you just never got your footing back because you're out of place now, and you don't have a home, and you're wandering. I was wandering, and I was just like not connecting. So all of that to say, I never finished school. So then what happened? What happened was I ended up really still wanting to pursue communications, but I had to figure out how to do it on my own. So the first thing that I really learned in this process, going back, that really educates me still to this day, is I started coming up with this theory of like from free to fee. And that theory was, so I had a full-time job working in sales, because that was all I could pretty much get at the time. And I was working in sales, but I was like, I still want to get to TV. I still want to do stuff on radio. Like I want to be in the media. So I started pitching. And I started pitching stations, and I was like, look, I could talk about tech. Y'all don't have a show that relates to this. Y'all don't have a show relates to that. And I would pitch myself. And eventually I got a yes. And then they told me it was going to cost me money to host my own radio show. And I was like, okay. So I bought my own airtime, and then I had to learn how to pitch brands to figure out how to pay me back for the time that I was paying for.
Wow. Yeah.
So while I had a day job, I had a once-a-week radio show that I was self-funding, that I would drive to this radio show on my lunch break, go do it, and come back to my day job once a week on Thursdays. And then once I got in that mode, I was like, I need to get on a bigger station. I need to get on TV. And I would just rinse and repeat. So when I pitched TV, I said to it's Channel 2 in our market in Baltimore, and I was like, I want to come on TV once a Thursday in the morning and do Tech Tip Thursdays and just kind of educate people on what's going on with technology. I'm already doing it on radio, but I want to do it on TV, and I'm not going to charge y'all anything for it. I just want the opportunity. So I had a day job, so I was using the day job to fund my dream stuff, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm doing the Channel 2 thing, and I'm popping on. Why did I do that? Because my goal was to get to the Today Show. My goal was to get national, to CNN, to all these bigger things. I'm like, how am I going to do it? I got no degree. I don't have any expertise in this space. Let me see if I can talk these people into letting me come on for free. So remove the restrictions. A lot of people want to throw out money and be like, yeah, y'all got to pay me this. Like, do you have the skill set to be asking for that? Like, so I got in, I learned live television. I learned camera angles. I learned what it's like to go to a commercial break. I learned breaking news. I learned everything. I was in a sponge mode. And then I would leave that and then go to my day job. And I did that every Thursday. So even when it was raining or snowing or any of that nonsense, I still had to show up on air. So I'm still waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get myself together, to then be at the station by 7, because I got to be on air at 7:30, and I can't be looking like I just woke up. I got to look like I've been awake for about 3-4 hours. Right? So, you know what I'm saying? So that began it all, man. And then once I realized, like, wait, hold on. As long as you know how to proactively package yourself and package your ideas, and you can communicate that in a way that they see the value in it for them, you can get more doors open. And so I've just translated that same formula to every opportunity, whether it's a collaboration or a partnership or now with brand deals. So fast forward a little bit, and I targeted CNN, and I targeted the Today Show. I was like, I got to get on. How do I get on? And I think I got on I got on CNN first as a fluke. That's a whole other story. But as a fluke, I got on. TJ Holmes was the anchor at the time, and I crushed it. And that's not being conceited. I overproduced. I practiced for this like once in a million shot that I was going to get. And then they asked me to come back again at no cost. And so eventually I started learning, like, okay, here's how I need to navigate to a contract. Here's how I need to navigate to like monetizing this. And then I got a shot on the Today Show and had my moment, 2-minute moment. And then they came to me, it's like, what else can you do? And so all of those moments happened because I basically was just like, I'm telling you what I can produce or what I can deliver. And I'm telling it to you in a way that should get your attention because it's got value in it for you. And so many people will still say no, but some will say yes. And that's how that happened. So then I get on TV and then that's when you saw me. And now I've shown people like this process that I've used to get on TV is the same process that I had to use to fund my own shows, my own podcasts, and my own events. Because I'll stop on this point, but it's important. I'm on the Today Show doing segments. Now I'm in a contract with them. I'm actually getting paid to appear on air, which is really rare because a lot of contributors do it for the exposure.
Right.
Because you're going in front of 4 to 5 million viewers when you go live. So I'm getting paid to show up and do my thing. I start pitching around the studio this TV show idea I got, this thing called the Never Settle Show. I want to do a live in-studio audience talk show that's really going to be like helpful to entrepreneurs and creators. None of them bid on it. They were like, nah, this ain't it. This is not it. This isn't happening. And then I went to Al Roker, and he was like,
shout out to Al.
This sounds interesting. He's like, this sounds interesting. Why don't you meet with my people and let's see? We get to going, and I'm like, yo, all I need is a door open. I'm from Baltimore. Like, I just leave the crack of the window open or the side door. Like, I'm gonna get in. Just like, you don't have to do much. You don't have to be there at the door. Like, I just need to know it's unlocked, and I'm getting in the joint.
Absolutely.
So I get in, and I present to Al the whole vision. Again, packaging the idea in a way that can communicate to him, I'm serious, I'm invested, I'm a professional with this. Can we make this happen? And so the answer was yes. We ended up funding the show by going to brands. I couldn't get a studio in New York. Even though I had Al's name backing me, there was no studio that was going to do it that wasn't going to charge me $100,000 or $200,000. So I then used the same format, and I called around to tech companies that had big lobbies. And I was like, can we use your lobby on Wednesday nights? And in exchange, we will promote your product in the show with an ad. And that, I got about 4 no's and went to Gary Vaynerchuk's place. They were like, yes, but then they were changing some stuff that wasn't going to work. Ended up finding a place, got there, did our show. We ran 8 episodes that we did there in a company's lobby. My supervising producer was in a janitor's closet with the control board.
That's crazy.
Like, that's where they had to hide behind. And we had old metal chairs that be in the church's basement.
Yeah.
Some folding metal chairs that hurt the butt. Those were the chairs that we had for the studio.
Wow.
And And we did it. And that show, I pitched the idea. I didn't even have the show. I missed a piece. I pitched the idea to FedEx office. And I said, I know that you all want to try to get more entrepreneurs. My show is all about entrepreneurship. And I'm a customer. This pitch deck that I got, I had it in a FedEx envelope. I said, I just printed it out at FedEx offices to show y'all that I'm a customer, and pulled it out and pitched them the show idea. And boom, $186,000 later, we had an investment in the show, and to run for 8 episodes.
Wow, Mario.
That's incredible, bro.
Big ups to you. My goodness.
Yeah. And just in that segment right there, I mean, he dropped so many gems. You know, that I love that free to fee model that you were talking about. It kind of reminds me of the what Lil Wayne used to talk. If you just want to give like some hip hop reference to it, Lil Wayne, back in the day, he would drop these mixtapes and just give all of these mixtapes away for free. He keep giving them away.
Mm-hmm.
Gary Vaynerchuk, he calls it the jab, 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 right hook method, right?
Okay.
So you just give a little bit, and then you just hit them with the big ass. So, and you did all of this stuff, just proving that you have value and giving your value, showing off your value, and then eventually these brands came back to you and wanting you to do more. So, I mean, it's so many gems that people can pick up just in that little bit right there. Another question I wanted to ask you, bro, like when it comes to, because again, you got the deal with FedEx, right? Were there other things, were there other metrics that they were looking at, like in terms of like social media numbers or anything like that they needed to validate in order for them to want to be connected to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, that's a really insightful question, because like you're new on the scene, you don't have a show already out. This is why I tell podcasters, creators, YouTubers, like you don't event planners, you don't even have to have the thing out in order to get a brand deal. You can sell a concept all day. They get bought all day.
Yeah. And
I'm living proof of selling a concept. I didn't have the show out when I sold it to them. I had a picture, I had a slide deck, I had some thoughts, and I was like, and here's how we're going to get the reach. And what I did, because the numbers are important. Who's your audience, Mario? Well, I don't even have one yet. So how am I proving it to them that I'm going to, when you don't have the audience, the proof is on you.
Yeah.
So what people forget is like the trust that when we're selling an idea or wanting to get a brand deal, we're basically saying, do you trust me to deliver this? And we forget that that's really what it comes down to. So when you don't already have a large following, what they have to buy into is not what you don't have. They have to buy into your expertise, and they have to buy into the trust that they believe you can pull it off. Well, the only way they get to that is if your packaging is right and if your presentation is right. And then what I did is I made sure I had a partner. So prior to going to FedEx office, I went to Entrepreneur Magazine, because I'm like, it's going to be easier for me to get a digital publisher who needs content for me. So this is free to fee. I'm going to go to the publisher and I'm going to say, I'm about to shoot a show. It's going to be for entrepreneurs. It's going to be high-end production, multi-cameras with an in-studio audience. I'm going to give it to you for free if you can put it up on your website. In exchange, what I'm going to do, and this is what I didn't say this to them, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to now say, I got 14 million potential reach, because that's what their webpage gets. Their website gets 14 million. I'm not going to get 14 million viewers, and FedEx knows that, but they knew like, oh, he's on a platform where there's an audience. So we no longer need to worry about who's his audience.
Okay.
He's on the audience. He's got an audience from a different source. Here's how that changes even for today. I got a new product that I just created for a lot of people. It's called the IG Live series. What you do, peep this game real quick. What you do, you got low following count. You don't have an audience. Maybe you got an idea. And so what you do is you identify, you come up with a 12-week interview series. You're going to do it on IG Live. The 12 guests that you're going to have all have to have a larger following than you. let's just for numbers, let's just say you approach people that are still accessible but got a large following count of 50,000 followers. So you're going to identify 12 guests that have at least 50,000 followers. Do the math. What's 50,000 times 12 guests?
60. No, that's 600,000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in those 12 weeks, you are going to potentially reach how many?
600,000 people.
So that's what I'm telling the brand. So what I do is I then show the brand in my deck. Here are the 12 people. I got them on board. They're willing to be a guest, and some of them may want money from you. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Let's just say, for example, I'm gonna give each one of these guests $500 for the hour that I want them to be on with me. Mm-hmm. 500 times 12 is what? $6,000. Uh-huh. Right. So I'm not paying anybody yet. I'm just lining this all up in a deck. Okay. I didn't pay anybody yet. I'm not doing this show yet. I just put the deck together.
Yeah.
I just put the concept together. And I go to the brand. I say, we're going to reach 600,000 people over this 12-week campaign. You know that I'm all about health and wellness. Your Kind bars, your, a Happify app, or you're the Calm app, or you're the Sleep Number bed. Like, you're all about health and wellness. You should sponsor this show. And here's what you're going to get. We're going to do a call out for your thing. We're going to pin your comment with a CTA, and I'm going to make a mention, a 15-second native ad read inside this thing. And we're going to be over a 12-week series, and it's going to cost you $24,000. So now I pitch them what it's going to cost for the reach of 600,000 potential people. In my mind, I'm like, okay, I know I got a $6K expense. So I'm taking home $18K.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm doing it at home on my phone.
Come on, bro.
With no follow, not even have any following count.
Listen. We could just end the podcast right there.
That is
like,
so
come on.
good. That is so good. But okay, so I have a question for you, Mario. So when you say things like that, it sounds like you really have to sell yourself, especially if you just have a concept or idea. So the one thing that I know about your course is that you talk about like discovering your sales superpower. Can you kind of talk about that? Like, why is that very important when it comes to, pitching to these big companies and things of that nature?
Okay. I see what you're doing. Hey, a good sign of a great podcaster is whether or not they've done their research. And I can tell just in that question, this isn't some softball question. Like, you've actually looked in and saw something. So that's great. So kudos to you all for that. Note to every other creator that's paying attention, do that research. So I would say, the reason why you got to know your superpower is because whatever really makes you unique is the very thing that's going to attract to a brand or attract a vibration to an audience that's going to connect with that uniqueness. Mm-hmm. But we've been so stifled to be taught to kind of fit in as opposed to standing out. And since we yearn to fit in, we don't stand out. And what I'm saying is we got to do the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that when you decide to really be true to yourself, you make it easier for the people that are actually looking for you to find you.
Yeah.
They won't find you otherwise because you're hiding under something that's not really true. So when it comes to selling and when it comes to kind of presenting your idea and presenting your uniqueness, if it's in your look, that's great. If it's in your sound, if it's in your personality, if it's in your approach, whatever that unique thing is, amplify that ish. Amplify it.
Okay.
Because that's the thing that's going to, number one, it's just going to feel more genuine to you, and you'll just be a more happier soul that you're being true. It will also mean that you'll feel uncomfortable, which is actually meaning you're about to get growth. So do that because it is uncomfortable. And what if they say no? They were going to say no anyway. Go to the next one and go to the next one and go to the next one. Now, I will say this real quick about your superpower and getting no's. There are two types of no's that you can get. You got to pay attention to them. Okay. The one no is if you're getting the same no over and over and over, like your price is too much.
Okay.
And it's the same no from everybody you've been pitching. you probably need to really go back and look at your numbers and figure out, like, why is everyone thinking that you're overpriced out of the market?
Okay. Maybe
you overvalued yourself. Maybe you talked yourself into it, or maybe your homeboy or homegirl kind of, got you in that cloud and you went out on, you started talking crazy numbers. Like, you come back down. But the other no, if you're getting different no's, oh, I thought it was going to cost this, might be one no. Or you might get a different no, be like, not now, but maybe later this year. Or you might get a different no, like, oh, I thought you were going to have this option instead of these options. That just means keep going. Okay. You just haven't either met the right person yet that needs to hear the pitch, but you don't need to tweak anything. You just haven't had the right audience. Okay. So sometimes we pitch the right product to the wrong audience, but you got to pay attention to the no's to know the difference so that you don't just be out here pitching, because people come to me and be like, man, I'm getting ghosted like crazy. Nobody's responding. I'm like,
there might be a reason for that.
I can tell you why.
So, Mario, I want to rewind just a little bit. I want to kind of go back to the numbers for a second, because I think numbers are oftentimes people, get misconstrued. I mean, you just gave a whole masterclass on how people can like really take a low follower account, right, and really pitch that, with these different strategies and such. One of the things I want to know, and this is more for me and for us really, because and I talked to you a little bit about this, Mario. So here's the scenario. Here. We have this podcast that we just launched a few months ago, right? Okay. It's doing okay. I mean, obviously, the numbers are not where we want them to be right now, but it's growing. Every day it's growing. We're seeing the numbers grow. We did get approached, however, by a major television network about having our podcast come onto their platform, and their new podcast network platform, right? So with that, that exposes us to an entirely new audience now, from our little maybe hundreds of thousands of followers and people that we engage with just on our platforms on our own. Now we're exposed to more people. We exposed to a 2.5 million people reached, I believe that number is. So, but that the demographic that 2.5 million typically reaches, it's not the demographic that we would typically would serve, right? So can we still use that number when going after brand deals to say, like, listen, we have a 2.5 million people reach, even though it's not the same demographic that, that we cater to?
This is a really good question. You want to be able to leverage any number that you possibly can, but you want to be authentic with the leveraging as best as you can. And that's really what you're asking here. So I'm going to make an assumption that the network maybe has an older audience that you have, that you're reaching.
Correct.
Correct. Right? But that's the value to that network. They need that younger audience to come to it. So I understand the value from that position. So then you're saying, okay, so can I use that number, though, of that big reach, even though that big reach is going after a older market? The answer is yes. But how you use it is going to be really important. So number one, I would also just find out of that number, like I'd make sure I got my hands on their media kit. So I'd be like, send me the sales kit that you send when you're going out trying to do deals. I want to see the same kit. So that's number one. I would get educated as to how they even sell their network now, and what are the buzz terms and the words and the things and the vocabulary that they're using. Plus, I also want to see that demographic, because what if it's not, I mean, do you know for sure that it's way older, or do you even know that there's like slices of your audience that may be a part of their audience?
It's slices, and I think what they're trying to do is skew to a younger demographic. I look at it the same way, if you remember back in the day, how VH1 was at one point back in the day, where it really skewed to an older, more older demographic, and then they kind of just came and just switched everything up. And I think that's the direction, I believe that's the direction they want to go in with this podcast network. But yes, so,
Yeah, that makes sense. So here's the thing. Would that demographic that they have on that network now, forget your audience that you're going to bring, the audience that already exists, would that audience benefit from your podcast conversations and show, or not so much?
I think so. Absolutely. Because we are seeing this shift now happening on a couple of different fronts. More people are trying to get more in tune to younger demographics, these younger conversations is happening. When I say young, I mean, we are like the not super young. We're not Gen Z young, but
right.
But people are trying to get more tapped into these conversations that we are having, but also too, in terms of the whole diversity and the whole DEI front as well. They're trying to get again just more in tune to a different demographic than they would typically reach. So
yeah. So, I mean, and like I said, I get why the network is doing it, because for all those reasons, it absolutely makes sense. You use the number because no matter what, your content is going on that platform. And your content still has that potential reach. But you just got to be educated. You can't sound crazy like, we're going to reach this 2.5 million. No, you're not. You're going to reach a slice of the 2.5. But what if you find out that slice is 700,000?
Right.
So
that's still a good number.
Right.
We need to find out, like if age 20 to 45 is like good enough to be your audience. You're not really talking to somebody that's like 55 and older. Isn't really like where you're going at. It's like you're like 20 to 45. Well, like what is that makeup of that 2.5 million that fits that?
Right.
It's not going to be 200,000.
Right.
It's going to be probably larger than maybe you would expect. Here's the other thing. The platform gives you opportunity to be seen in bigger audiences, but that doesn't stop you from still promoting to the audience that you intend to have see it.
Right. Absolutely.
But it gives you leverage to now drive people to a very easily, more readily accessible network and location than just coming to your own social or your own site or something like that. So the cross promotion will be big. What does that mean? What that means is you would go out and you would sell it to a brand. This is what our show's about. Here's the concept. Here's the audience. Here's who we are going to be reached. Here's the distribution platform where it's going to be seen by all of these people. Our sweet spot of that number is about 800,000 or whatever the number is. And what we're also going to do, though, is we're going to be taking clips from that, and then we're going to be putting that in social to reach our audience to get them to also come and watch the full thing over here on this distribution. Every time we do a clip, we're going to put a bug or logo or a mention or something about you being a supporter of this show, of this program. So now, how often would you promote? If you had a show going on there and it was a weekly show, I would think you're putting out at least 3 or 4 messages in a week. If you calculated that over 3 months, right? If you did 4 messages a week, that's 16 in a month. If you did that in 3 months, that's what? 48?
48,
48 mentions. So that's 48 mentions in social.
Yeah.
That's nothing to do with what you, and then you got a mention in every single episode. So if it's once a week, let's just do the 3 months, that's 12 episodes. So now you got 12 mentions, 48 cross promotions, and then you just start adding these things up and you start having what looks like a very holistic package that's going to reach a big audience in a lot of different ways. And that's how a brand sees that. And they say, okay, this was thought out. We're going to get X amount of mentions. We're going to be seen X amount of times. There's even an opportunity where we're going to get an interview. So we're going to be able to get that. We're going to be able to get some product placement, something that's going to show up on camera. That's a part of that brand's thing that just naturally kind of shows up into the piece. There's all kind of things that you can build in to it that gives them this entire world of how much reach and how many touch points you will be delivering. And that's what gets their attention. So
Mario, I love that because it's going actually right into something else that I wanted to speak to you about. So in your, I think it's like prep your pitch or prep that pitch. When I looked at one of these pitches that you had, Mario, it was extensive. I said, how many hours did he have to work on this? And also the research that you did on the company that you pitched to even like take some of their wording and put it into yours, the way that you had a picture of your team look like a picture of their team. Like, you really did your research. So when it comes to someone that says like, okay, I want to learn how to prep a pitch, I don't know how deep you want to go into this, because in your course, I know. Exactly.
No, it's cool.
But
I like it. You're like, hey, look, we got this person. He's an expert. Let's get this game. I get it.
But I just want some people to know, when it comes to just a good pitch, what are some nuggets? What are some things that they really want to research about the brand that they're going after?
That's a great question. I think the first thing that you want to do is you have to understand what the alignment is between your audience and that product. What a lot of people get taught is that you have to have alignment between your idea. Oh, I'm going to do this event, and this event is for Black women in business. And so these are business women, these are professionals, these are entrepreneur women. And so you start talking about your event, and you start thinking about, well, who is the right sponsor for the event? And it's like, nah, you need to be thinking about who's actually attending, but actually go a deeper level. So who would actually be attending? Okay, these are women entrepreneurs. All right. What does a Black woman entrepreneur, what does that Black woman entrepreneur need as a product or service that's going to help them expand or grow their business? What are the products? What are the services? They're going to need marketing. They're going to need technology. They're going to need products that self-care, to take care of themselves and they don't hit burnout. They're going to need like a lot of different things in order to kind of help them grow their business. And so I think when we start thinking about pitching our decks and putting them together, often what happens is we get so focused on the thing that we lose focus on the who. And I think if you pay more attention to who you're going to be serving, the audience that's going to be served by you, it makes it easier for you to find the right brands to go to. Case in point, you might say, I want to go after Target. And then I say, why? And you say, because they're a big brand, they got money, and I'm sure they would want to invest in Black women entrepreneurs to spend more money at Target. And I'm going to say to you, to buy what? As a Black woman entrepreneur, to buy what?
Right.
And so wouldn't it be better for you to go to Wix? Wouldn't it be better for you to go to UPS or FedEx office? Wouldn't it be better for you to go to HP or LG or Dell?
Yeah. Yeah.
See?
So wouldn't it be better for you to go to MailChimp or AWeber or any of these marketing services?
Right. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, no, Target doesn't make sense. McDonald's doesn't make sense. Ford doesn't make sense. Like, stop. We don't know because we haven't been taught, but we think that's where the money is. That's where the money is at. So I think when we put these decks together, there's really two things to think about. Number one, don't put pricing on your deck. It's something I teach in the course. There's a reason behind this, but if you've been getting ghosted, I guarantee you one of the flaws was that you sent your pitch with pricing. And I'll give you one reason why. There's several, but I'll give you one reason why this is a bad idea. Right now, the market, first off, many of y'all don't know this. 77% of marketing decision makers, people with the money, 77% of them, almost 8 out of 10 of these marketing buyers are now spending money on micro audiences. Micro audiences is classified by having 5,000 to 10,000 followers. That's it.
77% is spending their money on audiences between 5,000 and 10,000 people.
Wow.
And I'm talking about social audience. I'm just talking about following count.
Sheesh.
Okay.
Okay. Now, 25% of them, 25% of those same people are spending their money. 25% are spending their money on nano. Nano is less than 5K.
Jesus
wow.
Christ. Come on, man.
This is why I got a student who's got 1,100 followers that's got to deal with Dove Men Care.
Come on.
I got a student in Atlanta who's a comedian and she wanted to put on an event for comedy. And she's like, I should be able to get a liquor sponsor or a spirit sponsor. I'm like, makes sense. You're going to do it in a club? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But most times when we approach those types of things, it's a trade. Yeah, we'll give you free cases of whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no. We're asking for money.
Right. Yeah.
We're asking for money. So she went to Coca-Cola in Atlanta. She went to Coca-Cola. Didn't work. She got turned down. She went to Bacardi. They said yes. $12,500 of a yes for somebody that had about 1,800 followers and had never done a comedy event before.
That's Trisha, you hear it? I got my team in the background. Like, Trisha, you hear this right now? You hear it?
Bruh, I'm showing you. This is a media kit. I'm going to show you. This is a media kit for my buddy Pop, named Steve. Now, Steve has about 3,000 followers on social. Maybe it's 2,300, 2,900. But this is his IG Live. So he's showing a media kit that he's going to be doing a 12-week episode. Look at the amount of reach that he's going to get. Wow. 1.1 million. And then you go, well, yo, how is he going to get to that reach? And then I swipe over and I'll be like, because he's going to have these people as his guests.
Come on,
I'm getting all kinds of calls. These people are his guests. And then they got the audience, and then we got the demographics, all the information right down here. So what I'm saying to you all is,
that's simple.
If you don't know this and you're not talking to these brands and you're not talking to these agencies, because I'm still selling my own stuff. I'm not just teaching people. I got 2 pilots. I'm taping 1 this Friday. I got another show that we're working on, and I got my existing podcast, and I got an event that I want to do later this year. So I'm always seeking this information. What's changed? What's new? What are y'all looking for? What language is the right language? Because now I got relationships. So now these people are telling me, here's what to tell the people because we're tired of getting these media kits with this misinformation. And one of those misinformation pieces is if you put in your pricing, you will do 2 things that can go wrong. One, you may be undercutting yourself right out the gate. Mm-hmm. So if your top package was $20,000, but they was willing to spend $40,000.
Yeah.
You lost $20K. You might be happy you got 20. You lost $20K.
Right.
You just didn't know. But so you know that by having a conversation. You don't just put the pricing first. You put the pitch out there, but you don't put the pricing first. And then the second reason is these decision makers are, when they see that coming across their table like that, and you're offering them a bunch of stuff, but you haven't had a conversation with them, the assumption that they make is that you really don't know a lot about their business. So that you're just throwing these things at me that you think I would be interested in, but we haven't had a call to talk about that.
Right. So making sure you have that discovery call too, right?
Yeah. So I just think on the media kit, look, you just really got to focus on who your audience is, and then you got to really understand like why you're going after a particular brand, because you really see that it makes sense to your audience.
Yeah.
Right. Mario, you're giving so many freaking gems right now, bro. Listen, we're going to be wrapping up soon.
I'm tired of people now. Look, man, I've been getting text messages with people showing me, here's what I made on YouTube. I'm talking people with millions of followers.
Yeah. And that's
like, I got one brother that sent me his thing. Now, his thing is in music and it's in rap, so it's going to be a little bit different in terms of how much money he can make if it was tech or if it was money, because YouTube slides its algorithm on how it pays you depending on the type of audience that you got coming to it. So I get that. But you can't tell me that this man had millions of views over his content. And this, I'm talking, man, I got to pull up the exact numbers because, bruh.
And I'm
bruh.
Listen, I'm glad you're getting into, because that was going to be my next question, bro. I was transitioning to that because we're seeing now these conversations that's happening around whether or not people can really monetize off of social, off of these different platforms. And, you know, they're creating all of these creator platforms for like YouTube Shorts and TikTok and IG and all of this. And people are really not making the money that they really should be making, right? Yeah. Because people can be out here getting millions of views and getting so much engagement and reach on their content, but these platforms are turning around and giving them maybe a couple $100 check off of something that, you know, they reach. I mean, you talk about these people doing Super Bowl numbers, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what's crazy about it.
Yeah, they're doing Super Bowl numbers, and we know what Super Bowl ads cost, right? So we can go but it's intentional though, right? Because these platforms, and I just put up a post about this recently. These platforms are intentionally suppressing our content, but it's still running ads on it. So it forces us to buy ads so we can get more reach. Yep. So they're trying to get more money from us, right?
Yep.
So which is just insane. So, but again, also too at the same time, it's preventing us, because what stops us as me, Mr. Social Media influencer with millions of followers, from going directly to the brand myself without having to go through the middleman, Mr. Social Media middleman.
Right.
Right? So this is why I think that conversation really needs to start happening. More of a conversation. Yeah. It needs to happen around why brand partnerships are the way to go.
Mm-hmm. And we set so many trends.
Right.
So like, hold on a minute. We set the trend and we don't get the cash in?
Yeah.
Like the platform gets to make money off of us, and then other people that copycat what we're doing get to then make money off of us?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we've been told by the platform that we can make money. Here's the case in point. This is a straight up screenshot from a YouTuber named Brooke. She put her own thing up there because she wanted people to actually see. So what you're going to see here is $768 was her estimated revenue. Now I got to slide this over for you to actually see the amount of views that this was 64 million views.
Wow.
Nah.
YouTube Shorts, 64. Yo, I'm not lying. That's her. You can go and look her up yourself.
That's insane.
Wow.
So she's like,
the average revenue for 1,000 views is around 0.01 cent.
0.10 cent for every 1,000 views that she gets.
Okay.
Come on, y'all.
So for her, and I'm not putting her on blast. She put that out there. I'm not. I hit her up in the comments. I said, "You getting brand deals though, right?" And she was like, "Yes, I'm getting brand deals." I was like, "Perfect. You good then? All right, carry on."
But you know what? There's a lot of people are relying on these social media platforms to get monetized. Mm-hmm. They don't have the understanding or the wherewithal to know how to go after a brand deal. Right. So, and I think this is a good segue, because you have this amazing course that you teach people, like a step-by-step method on exactly how to do that. And again, for a full disclaimer, I took his course. And
you did.
Prior to me
paid to be in it.
Paid to be in that course, absolutely.
Yeah.
I definitely paid to be in that course. But it was.
He's like, I remember writing that check.
But it was so worth the investment, though, right? Because I was just telling these guys, before we started, I have this major event that I do every year here in Buffalo. And prior to me taking Mario's course, I have never got that event fully funded through sponsorship.
Mind you, the largest award show.
It is the largest award show in Western New York.
Okay.
That honors millennials, young professionals under the age of 30.
The largest award show, Mario. Largest.
And until I took his course, I had never got it fully funded. And so after I took his course, and then this year, shout out April 15, the 11th annual Changemakers 30 Under 30 Awards. We are fully funded. We're fully funded. So there's real value in is because this man knows what he's talking about. So Mario, if you can just talk to the people a little bit about the course, what it is that you offer in this course, and how people can connect to it.
Bro, hearing it again, it hits different. Like, man, I'm so proud of you to keep pushing. You deserve the value. So many of you all that are listening to this and watching this, you deserve the deals. Don't get me wrong. And we get caught up because we kind of get in a mode of desperation where we need the deal. But here's the thing that we have to remember. We actually have the audience that they want access to.
Yes.
If they wanted to do something for Western New York, they could already be doing it.
Yes.
If they wanted to reach your under 30 crowd for what you do, they would already be doing it. They're not doing it. And we wouldn't show up because we'd be like, yo, what's McDonald's trying to do? Like, is it legit? Is it for real? Is it authentic? Do they have our best intention in mind? Like, but we know where you sit. So you're the gateway. We forget that we're the gatekeeper to the audience. The brands actually need us more than we need the brands.
Right. Right.
But we want the money. So we're like, no, man, I need the brand deal, bro. Like, you got to give me the money. I get that. But the mindset can't be that.
Yes.
The mindset has to be that you need my audience, FedEx.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You need my audience, Capital One.
Right.
You need my audience, Wix. These are all brand deals that I've sold and companies I've sold to. And so, yeah, man, we've done this. And we've done this at a high level. Like, I've sold over $4 million worth of brand deals. It's not like 200,000, and I'm not doing $500 per post.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not what I'm teaching. So if that's what you want to do, then go do that. That's different. But if you want 5K, 20K, 30K type deals, and you want that consistently, and you want that to kind of be a rotating thing for you, then yeah, the program is the right look for somebody like you. So in the program, man, we got workbooks. You get your own workbook with all kind of details and what the questions to ask when you get on the right calls. And but it's got 7 modules of video lessons that will walk you through the steps of developing your process, getting you to get to 30 brands for you to pitch, so you know who to pitch. We got the email templates that help you understand how to write the email or the DMs so that you can get their attention. We even talk about video letters and the power of making a video letter, which, Jamil, are you doing that yet?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, because if you're not, you got the capabilities to do that, and that should be getting your open rates like way high and selling your credibility much faster.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're pitching your idea to someone that's cold to you and they're not a warm connection, if you send them that video letter that shows some of your events, some of the photos, some of your awards, you in the podcast studio, they're like, damn, this is actually a thing. This dude is doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really, what we've seen with these video letters is that these video sales letters is that it skyrockets the conversion and the believability, the trust factor goes high.
Mm-hmm.
So we teach you all of these methods, how to price yourself, how to negotiate. We got contracts in there, pitch decks in there, and everything all laid out. Like, it's from beginning of the process to actually reporting after you got a deal. How do you even report back to that client what you did and how successful it was so that you can get the re-up?
That's super
Amazing.
dope, bro. That's so dope.
Amazing.
And, you know, what we're going to end up doing, too, you know, just for all of our listeners out there, we're going to do something special. If people wanted to take this class, you know, we're going to drop the link in the description, and we're going to put it up on the screen as well. But we're going to make sure that you guys get access to this course because, again, I really feel like that this can be a game changer for a lot of you guys. For people who have brands, people who have podcasts, people who are, you know, trying to be social media influencers, content creators. This is going to be an incredible opportunity for you guys to know how you can cut out the middleman and go directly to the brand and be able to create that relationship. And I always tell people, Avi, you know, I talk to you about this all the time.
Yep.
One opportunity only begets another.
Absolutely.
Right? So all you need is that one.
Yep.
All you need is that one, and then the opportunity,
open.
it's just like a snowball effect, right?
Yep,
so we
revolving
want
door.
people to make sure that you guys get locked in on this course. It's changed the way we do things. Again, and this is no fluff, guys. This is no fluff at all. Like, I'm telling you, I've been doing this event for 10 years, and it got to the point where I was ready to give up.
Yep.
You know, because I'm just like, I've been doing this thing for way too long.
Wow.
I've been doing this thing for way too long, not for it to be funded, right? And now we're at the point where it's fully funded, and now I'm ready for the next 10 years. Right?
Now you're ready.
Now I'm ready for the next 10 years. 'Cause now I have the blueprint now.
Yeah.
I have the blueprint on how to do
Did
it.
Did you shoot any video focused on the brand interaction at your event from the previous one, or have you?
Yeah.
From any-
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. We
Man,
always
come
capture
on,
that.
bro. Like anything you did before. What was are you comfortable sharing what your highest selling package was?
At the time, I believe it was $10,000, maybe.
Bro, we're gonna get that 3x.
Come on.
We're gonna get that 3x.
Come on.
Because I guarantee you now that you've done it and you've done the consistency over these years, and you have the authenticity of it and the audience. Now it's just I got to see the pitch. I got to see what you're pitching now. What you used to get to this point now actually needs to be advanced tweaks to get you to the next set of levels. Because if you already got anyone from 2,000 to 10K, and you've already done that, bro, like this is why, like you said, it begets more opportunity. I don't care if any of y'all are coaches and you're doing an event. if you can just get one brand deal to come on, and let's just say it was $1,500, that the amount doesn't matter for your first one. Mm-hmm. What matters is you actually capturing the experience that brand has on your show or at your event. And then you use that video, chop that up, package that to sell the experience to the next brand who's not going to be charged $1,500 because you're going to go to them and be like, yeah, this is $10,000.
Yeah,
right.
right.
And they're going to look and they be like, yeah, that looks like what $10,000 is worth. Absolutely. I can see why you're charging that.
Yeah.
So it's really just a matter of understanding the game a little bit. And once you have some experience and you've done at least one or two deals, that's when you can actually turn it up because none of these brands know what the other brand has paid.
Right.
And if you really want to get smooth with it, sometimes they don't need to know. And sometimes early on, I even would do it for free. I would be like, look, I'm doing this thing. I would love to have you and I knew I was self-funding it. And I was like, you know what? But I still want to have a brand associated with it. Mm-hmm. Can you give us some product? Or can you show up and just speak for a few minutes? Or can you have a table in the back? No charge. We just want you to be there and experience it, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. And then I'd shoot video of it. But I'd have video not just of them there. I had a shot list. So while other people are doing events, they're running around capturing the entire experience. What was it like for the people and who was on stage and all that? I'm doing that. But then I also have a separate shot list that my videographer has to go and get. One, what's the brand setup look like? Two, I want video of the brand setting themselves up, being there. 3, I want testimonials from the brand while they're at the event. What was the experience like? What did they get from it? Blah, blah, blah. And then number 4, I want them to be able to make sure that they're getting video of me with the brand doing something that's special in that moment. Those 4 things happen. I get it on video. Now I package that. Now the next brand is going to pay me. Yeah. I did that they don't know that brand was there for free.
Right. You
understand? So we are really more in control than we think we are. We just need to be taught. And number 1, we're never going to get a sustainable living income from the platforms themselves. We already proved that to you. You posted about it on Facebook. I saw your post. It went crazy. We already know that. Number 2, we know that you got to know how to go to these brands directly because 77% of them are actually looking to do work with smaller audiences, but they can't know if you exist if you don't make them aware of your existence.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's where your packaging and pitching to them really matters.
You're out of sight, you're out of mind, people. Like this, we could just drop the mic right there. Mario, this has been amazing masterclass on how to get brand partnerships.
Thank you this has been Mario.
Absolutely incredible. And I promise you guys, listen, go to my ISO shop, bro. I need to talk to the people. Right
I love it. I love it. Directed. Right Jamil directed on the fly. Let's go.
Listen. This course will really change the whole trajectory of the way you do business. I promise you guys, we've been hustling backwards for a long time. I know I was that guy who was sending out those pitch decks, and it had all types of wrong information in there until Mario gave me the play, man. He gave me the play. And once I got the play, I started to run the play and I started to get the money. So I kid you not, guys, make sure that you hit the link in the description, sign up for this course. I promise you make this little investment and it's you are gonna see a crazy return on your investment. You got to bet on yourself. You have to bet on yourself. So Mario, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. If people wanted to reach you, connect with you online and such, how can people do that?
So they can hit me up on Instagram. That's definitely one of my go-tos because I get busy in the DMs. Just go to @MarioArmstrong on Instagram. Twitter, I'm on as well. LinkedIn, I'm there. But definitely hit up neversettleacademy.com. Well, actually, hit up the link that we're going to post for Jamil because it's actually a specific one for you all. GetSponsorshipMoney.com/Jamil. We'll put that up. But yeah, man, Instagram is where I'm at. Come holler at me. You got questions? I'm here. I don't want to see any of us getting devalued. I don't want to see any of us being underpaid. I don't want to see any of us getting taken advantage of. And I want you to get this game because I know that there's so many brands, y'all. There's enough money for everybody.
That's right.
So I want you to get whatever it is. If you need something from me because you can't jump into the course, Jamil knows I'm still going to more than likely answer your question. But if you want to get the real deal, like jump into the program. Let's go. Oh, by the way, real quick, you see on my wide shot? This
go back to the wide shot, bro.
You see that Zenny situation?
Come on.
For those that don't know, Jamil already knows where I'm going.
Yeah.
These glasses I'm wearing, I'm being paid to wear these.
Yeah.
Oof.
Brand partnership, y'all. Come on.
It's a brand partnership. That's called product placement. So let's go back to the wide shot on Jamil. And Avi. We got to get some product placement going on.
Yeah, I need some Zenny. I need some FedEx. I need some. We need all of that.
We need some product placement
all around here.
We need to go after some water.
Yeah,
I don't know who it's gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be Aquafina or somebody, but we need some water.
I mean, it could be that, or it could be tea. You could go after teas if that's what y'all. You could go after herbal teas or whatever. You could go after coconut water. You can go after candles.
Yeah.
We see.
Y'all can have a little glass. Y'all can have a glass of wine.
Yes.
You can have a glass of wine.
We got some work to do, Avi.
We do. I was about to say, Mario, so he's about to work our whole team, right? Like he's about to work us into the ground right now. So thank you so much for everything you have taught. Because
I appreciate y'all having me on here. Y'all family. I really appreciate it. And we'll catch up soon. I can't wait to see y'all in person. And if y'all come on over, let me know that you're part of the family so we can link up.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mario, for your time.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of We Are the Ones podcast. Make sure you follow us across all streaming platforms, including Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify. We're on Audible as well. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube and follow us across all of our social platforms at We Are the Ones podcast.
And remember, keep winning on purpose because you are the one we have been waiting for.